Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Monday, October 17th, 2022. We're just a couple months and a week away from Christmas, aren't we? Yeah, it's just that close. Just that close. So I may put up a list, if I can come up with some ideas. If you're all looking for, presents you want to get me, car parts, all that sort of thing. Basically, just go to the Dynacorn page, pick anything on there for basically a 67 or 68 coupe or fastback, and just start sending them. That'll work. Give me a bell. Okay. Hope everybody is doing well. Got some things to talk about tonight, and I'll say some exciting news. I think you can see behind me. There's obviously something different sitting behind me. So it's been a pretty good weekend, I think, in that respect. And also, I must point out, my Steelers won. I don't often wear my Steelers shirt anywhere, like on here or anything. But the Steelers beat Tampa Bay, beat Tom Brady with basically a starter, new quarterback and some hurt defensive players and all that sort of thing. So kudos to the Steelers. If you like them, I don't know. But, hold on. Let me start off with this. Jeff, thank you, man. Thank you. Awesome. Appreciate it very much. Very, very much. Thank you. Okay. So let's see what we're going to talk about tonight. I always try to encourage people to get involved and ask questions, try to keep things rolling along. Sometimes I run out of ideas, but I like to be able to get ideas and questions. And if you have, whatever it is, if you have a problem with your current car you're working on, obviously you want to stick with the classic stuff, 55 to 79, somewhere in that range. But that's kind of my ballpark cutoff. So if if you have something you want to bring up, fantastic. Otherwise, let's see who is here. And I'll tell you this, Ed Cucciarella was here super early. He checked in at 5:11. 5:11. I assume that's the correct time for my little timesheet on the side here. So Ed, you get the first bell. Glad you're here. And I hope you're still here, or you've come back at least. Crash Rider checking in. Good evening from a rather brisk and breezy southern Indiana. Be sure to hit the like button. Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, it is. The temperatures are dropping. Now, since we brought that up, I'm just going to tell you up front. Currently in Atlanta area, 69 degrees. Supposed to go down to 48. There's supposed to be 48 degrees today at some point. But tomorrow, low of 37. Wednesday, a low of 34. And Thursday, a low of 32. Yeah, it's going to get chilly. So we've had our windows open, getting that cool air in there, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that over the next few days. It's going to be a little too chilly for that. But I'm glad to see the cool weather coming. Jerry checking in from the Money Pit in Middle Tennessee. A brisk 56 today. Tonight we expect our first freeze. Click on a thumbs up. Yes. Yeah. And I can tell you, I don't know, my family's all up in Pennsylvania. And my mom was commenting the other day, and I didn't know this, that she bakes pies all the time. All kinds of pies. And I didn't know this. She said she won't get her apples until after the first frost. For whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe some old, I don't know how that works. But I learned that from her the other day. I was like, oh, well, okay. I guess it makes sense. I don't know what the difference is. Maybe somebody else knows. Terry Keithley, good evening, Barry. Good evening, everyone. Barry, please hit the like and thumbs up button. Thank you kindly from cold West Central Illinois. Glad you're here, Terry. And it let you respond tonight, so that's awesome. That's a good thing. Greg checking in from Australia. Hi, Barry. That looks like a bit of work. Yes. Yeah, that car's going to need a little work, but let me tell you, we'll talk about this car shortly. It's a good thing to buy that car. It really was. Rick checking in. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. Glad you're here, Rick. Let me know if you have your ice cream out or you're going to get that later. Glad you're here. Simone checking in. Glad you're here, Simone. I know it's late in the UK, but I'm glad you're here. give you a bell. And let me see what else we have. Ray. I'm sorry, I read Ray Buckman, but it's actually Rick Stevenson. Glad you're here, Rick. Hope all is well with you. And there is Ray. So Ray Buckman, hello, Barry, and everyone. So you get to share a bell. Dawn's Manufactory. Hello, everyone. Hope you's doing fine. Granddaughter's birthday party. So I'll be going soon, but at least I made it. Glad you're here, Dawn. And I did watch your video on the back glass. I liked what you did. I know I've done my variation of putting in the glass with the gasket and the sealer and stuff. So you did a good job. I liked it. Hindsight 6-7. Roger checking in from next door. Glad you're here, Raj. Let's see. Oh, Dawn checking in. Gearing up for painting Betsy. Good. That's a good thing. I know that. I know you. I think you said you painted her before. I don't know how long ago that was, and I don't know if you're going. I guess you're going back with the same color or something similar. I assume, because it was kind of a root beer color of some sort, root beer brown type of color. So maybe you can let us know if you're going back with the same thing. Nandu, good evening, everyone. Glad you're here. And Bob Shoemaker, good evening from much cooler Oklahoma. This car is just right for Barry. Yes, it is. Let me tell you, this car is. Yeah, we'll get into that. Chris Greenaway, new project behind you. Yes, it definitely is. Now, I'll say this. This is not. It's not on the top of the list. It's not. But it was too good of a deal to not bring it home and put it somewhere on the list. But yeah, it's a new project. 68. Nandu, other than the rear quarter panel, that Mustang looks good going by the pics you posted on Instagram. It is. It is. I have some. I actually uploaded or downloaded some of those pictures here. I was in the middle of adding those to my queue for the live stream, and I'll show you some of those as well. So I'm going to keep adding those as I move along. But yeah, it's a really solid car. Let's see where we at. Colin, hey everybody, cold and rainy upstate New York. Can't wait to hear about the new project. Glad you're here, Colin. Steve Grimes, good evening, Barry, from Chile, Central Pennsylvania. Nice shirt, Barry. Thank you, Steve. It was a great win. Especially with like not having the full complement of the team going up against Tom Brady. So that's good. He's a prima donna anyway. Harvey, hello, Barry. Looks like Santa dropped off a cool new project for you. Yes. Wally. Now, that is a blue car, right? Yes, it is, Wally. Yeah, it is a blue car. We're going to get more into that in just a minute. 68 Orange Crate, the rainbow of colors car that ain't. Yeah. Yeah. And it's frustrating, but it's not. I mean, when the car came up for sale, we saw this color on it and thought, wow, maybe. No, it's not. But that's okay. It's a really, really good car. Simone, that blue looks very much like my Cortina. Yeah, that's probably a similar color. Mr. Mikey, good evening. Glad to be watching. Well, I'm glad you're here, Mr. Mikey. Abe Gudino. Hello, everyone. Hello, Abe. I guess that's how you say it. Gudino. Glad you're here. Ray Buckman, new car behind you, Barry. Yes. Chris Greenaway, 32.9 degrees in my part of Canada. That's chilly. That is chilly. Bruce Jones, hello, everyone from Kansas City. Glad to hear, Bruce. Donald Rice, checking in from Jeanette, Pennsylvania. And Simone, Barry, what is your method of classic car windshield removal and replacement? I have new for my car. Well, I have some videos out. As far as removal, there's going to be variations, obviously. If your car has a rubber gasket and you are replacing the rubber gasket, then that rubber gasket is sacrificial. I mean, I've taken them and just cut them. Just cut right up against the glass and just cut the face off the gasket. Other ways you could do that is to peel back the rubber on the inside and push it out so it all comes out together, assuming it, is a rubber. If it has more of the butyl type material, you're going to need something to cut through that. We used to, at the junkyard, quick little junkyard story, we used to burn tires before it was, not correct. And you'd end up with cords, basically metal bands from those tires. And those made great material for cutting the butyl on a windshield. So we would feed the wire, like safety wire, feed it through, grab it with a pair of vice grips, grab it with another pair of vice grips, and just kind of saw back and forth to separate the butyl and then push the glass out. So that was another way to do it. As far as putting them in, I mean, I've shown videos on the Mustang doing it with the rubber me and Roger have put in those. So I've shown that, and then how I sealed it. I know Don's manufacturer, he just did one on his 65 where he put the rubber in and then used a liquid type of butyl material and pumped it around the seal. So there's a few different ways to do it. You can find the videos on my channel. I think the most recent one would be Jade under that series. So good question. Abe is hello from California. Glad you're here, Abe. Robert checking in. Evening all, a little late as I just got back from picking up the Queen at the airport after she spent 2 weeks taking care of her mom. She is thoroughly exhausted and happy to be home. Well, I'm glad she made it. I'm glad she's home. Terry, so this car is not it in disguise. No, it is not it. Nope. This is a hardtop. Chris, looking at this project, the only issue is importation to Canada. Yeah. And Robert, go buy some cheap guitar strings, great for removing butyl and urethane glass seals. There's a good one. Well, yeah, you don't want to burn tires. You don't want to burn tires for the wire. Don't do that. Let me just show you a couple of pictures. So this is how the car was shown on. I showed it last week, but this is how it was shown on Marketplace, and that was the only picture they had of that car. That's it. And we were looking at the color, and they mentioned it needed a right rear quarter panel. So we just kind of, went for it, went to take a look at it. And in the process, we got over there and started looking at the thing. And, well, these are some shots from underneath the car. So that's the left rear frame rail. You can just look at it and see. The only thing that's on that right now is you can see some of the undercoating, and that's it. There's nothing at all wrong with that frame rail. Right rear frame rail, same thing. I mean, just original material there. Oh, I just noticed. No, that's a leaf spring. Sorry, I was thinking there was a tow hook or shipping hook thing on it, but it doesn't have that. Here is the right front torque box. Again, there's nothing there. It is clean surface rust. Let me see if I can get some of these other ones. I'll show you this one here. So this is the driver's side floor pan. Look at that. And that's all original metal. I don't know why the camera took a picture like that so it's blurry, but there is, nothing wrong with it. And I've looked inside. I've taken, I didn't take anything out of this car yet. Inside, sitting in the passenger side, is the engine block, a C4 transmission, various pieces and parts. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the trunk. As you can see out here, there's one of the side glass. The rear window is sitting on the other side of the hood. And, I just haven't had time to dig into it yet and really look and see what's missing or what's all there. But it is it is probably one of the more solid Mustangs that I've seen, honestly. I talked about the Stray Pony 65 that I had. That was a very rust-free car. This one, the worst part about it is the right rear quarter where it got hit. I don't know if I can rotate the camera a little bit. Okay, so it got hit. Apparently on this side over here. Focus camera. Focus. Nope, not going to focus. Anyway, and they tried to fix it. They cut the outer part of the wheelhouse off and kind of merged another one into it. And, that's as far as they got. So it's going to have a right rear quarter, maybe a full wheelhouse. I haven't decided yet. I'm out of focus. Can it focus? It does it sometimes. Let me step away for a second. See if it doesn't adjust. Still not doing it. Come on. Come on. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. Okay, so I'm slightly out of focus. I don't know what else to tell you. So anyway, the right rear quarter is going to have to get redone. Floor pans are great. Frame rails are great. There's some rust in the right front apron, under the battery. The core support, it's kind of wavy, so I'll have to fix that or replace it, which isn't a big deal. Come on. I don't know why this isn't focusing. I can't even trick it. Okay, let me go back up here. Get back where I was on this. Okay, so, yes, Chris Greenaway, piano wire, yes, that would work too. And Simone hooked, I have rubber windshields. Why won't this focus? Focus on the Steelers. Come on. Hey, there you go. That's all it took. I wanted to see the Steelers up close. Ray Buckman. Wow, that's clean considering the age of the car. Yes. Yeah, that's what just blew me away when I started, Roger and I were looking at the thing, and I was like, the floor pans are all there. There's no holes. There's no rust. So, John Jude, hey, from Ohio, USA. Welcome, John. I don't recall that name before. Glad you're here. Robert, nice to see it not full of dents from being jacked up improperly like most Mustangs have been. Yes, I was surprised at that too. Chris, Jade and Blade, his and hers. I am trying to come up with a name for it. I am. But I haven't really committed to anything. So, I might consider that. Brad C. Thank you, man. Put a little star by that too. Let's see. That's mainly for the Steelers shirt. Got it. Thank you, man. Donald Rice. There's a guy in Butler. His channel is Iron City Garage. He just got a 66 Mustang GT and a S Code 67. Wow. Okay. Cool. That's good. I just saw posted on one of the forums a 68 Shelby GT500. I don't have the direct link in front of me, but it was a flood car, apparently from the floods in Florida. Green Shelby, everything was there. Restored car. Must have been a beautiful car, and it was full of water, and so they totaled it. I'm like, how do you total a Shelby? If that's an original Shelby GT 500 fastback, how do you total that car? Those cars will bring upwards over $100,000 if they're really nice. I don't see how they could just total it because it got wet. All you need is a shell. You can replace everything else. Simone, oh, I almost forgot I have an application form for a passport, hoping to visit the U.S. next year. Okay, well, good for you. Good for you. There's plenty to see here. Plenty to see. Come on over and enjoy some of the American food. Chris, I'd be happy to do my mid-size Merc. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, so right now, I don't know. I don't have a game plan specifically. I've talked about the red car before, and the one we just kind of nicknamed it Red Dave, right? And that was the rough car that I picked up a couple years ago, and I know I have some pictures of it up here somewhere. I'm pretty sure I have some pictures of it. Yeah, it's been a while. Oh yeah, this car. Okay, this is a really solid car too. Overall, it's a really solid car. But I like the blue one better. This one, it has its own little, its own little issues, but it would be a good builder as well. And the thing is, the blue car is just a lot more solid. Unfortunately, this car does not have any seats with it, so that's one little strike. It doesn't have any seats with it. I don't know the status of the engine and transmission. I'm not too worried about that. Those can be rebuilt or whatever. But I don't have the seats for this car. Now, what I'm thinking of doing is taking some parts, some small parts that I may need from the red car and then selling it. Because I can't just keep piling stuff up. It just doesn't work. But I'm really thinking I'm going to do that. Use some of the parts from the red car, find out what I'm missing, that I can use from that car for this car, and then sell the red one. That's kind of the plan right now. And then, I talked about I wanted to take the red car and kind of turn it into a like a road course type of car. Upgrade the suspension underneath it. Not worry about the exterior, just leave it the way it was, and just kind of make it a race car type of thing, But I don't think I want to do that with this car. I don't think so. If I do any upgrades, because the thing is, like the shock towers in this, they never even, a lot of people cut the holes in front and rear for the grease the fittings. These aren't even cut. Nobody torched them. And I don't know that I'd want to take all that out just to put a Mustang 2 style front suspension under it. It's just too solid. So at this point, this may go. I may do bolt-on suspension upgrades because I know they make like a coil-over something that you can put in, in the front, and then I may consider some different things in the back. I don't know yet. I'm not going to commit to anything. I'm just happy to have it here and in my hands. So safe. Let's see. Robert's talking to Simone. Busted Knuckle Garage. Hello from Central Alabama. Tommy. Whoa, Tommy. Glad you're here. Chris, how about the Superbird in Daytona eating a loss of 1 million easily? Yeah, I don't know what. I guess they totaled those. I don't know. But somebody's going to rebuild those. Somebody's going to have to rebuild those cars. Doyle, happy Monday, everyone. Glad you're here, Doyle. Falcon Keeper, have you done lead in the sail panel to rear quarter area? No. Have you done body lead? No. I usually take a torch and remove that. Once I'm done with all the repairs, I'll come back with like short strand fiberglass filler. Scuff it up really good and apply that filler. I don't mess with lead. I never have. I don't know that I really want to. Simone's talking to Robert. Colin, I may have missed you saying it. What year is the red car? It's also a 68. So technically, technically right now I have three '68 Mustangs and a '67 Mustang. I just have too many Mustangs. Can you ever have too many Mustangs or classic cars? Because I got the Camaro up there too on the lift. Still waiting on AMD. I don't know what they're doing. I keep sending them messages, and I'm not getting any real responses. So I don't know what's going on with that. Chris says Joe his and hers. Yeah, it could be that way. Ray, I think the blue one is too. You think the blue one is too? Make it right. Yeah, it's definitely the better car. It's definitely the better car. Lynn, hey, I just got home from work. Is that a Mustang in the background? Yes, it is. It's another '68. Another '68. Um, I was trying to think what else there was that really stood out on this. You know, it still has like I probably let me see if I have a picture of that. I posted stuff on Instagram, of course, and probably this picture. Let me do that. Let me just get this one brought in. Hold on just a second. After looking it over and pausing, and taking my time looking at things a little more, I really liked this picture right here. And you go, well, that's just the engine bay. Well, yeah, it is. But the thing is, you can look at a lot of the little fasteners and little like the hoses and the wiring. That to me is all original. It's not been moved around. Just kind of gives you a nice visual of how everything ran. It's pretty easy to figure out anyway, but it's nice to see it where it's not been cut off or separated in some way. But there, as I'm talking about that shock tower, there's no holes cut in it. The frame rail, all that stuff, is just super nice. Let's see. Okay, Doyle. I just added the short strand on my roof to quarter this past Sunday. Yep. That's what I've always used, and it seems to work good. Seems to work good. Colin, never too many Mustangs. My buddy has that problem with Corvettes right now. Three, I guess, or more, 3 or 4 piled up, cut up to make one car. Yeah. Yeah. It adds up quick when you start, getting these deals, you start piling them in. Greg's Workshop saying hi to Simone. Dawn, paint it real blue. Yeah, well, the factory color on this is Acapulco blue. That I really like. I really like that. Oh, did you see my new mug? Did you see my new mug? March Indy gave this to me recently. Yeah. Okay. Lynn says, hey, classics. Talking to Simone. All right. Chris, Joe, it's like my formula. I should pull the motor, do all the systems, but it's unmolested. Problem with us, we want the perfect specimen and then complain if we can't do anything, or we bought a modified one and take it back to stock. Yeah, that is the difficulty. That's what I said before. I've got the 31 Model A, my grandfather's car, and I wouldn't mess that car up. I painted it a different color. Paint is trivial. It's trivial. But I would not butcher that car and turn it into some hot rod or street rod no, not going to do it. But I would love to have a 31, even a 32, 3 or 4 pickup truck. And I don't want one that's original. I would rather have one that somebody has already cut up and modified and turned it into a street rod or hot rod, and then I would just leave it that way. I couldn't make myself do it unless it was already kind of in that process. And, that's just the way I look at it. I couldn't do it. Rick, were you able to get any history on the car from the previous owner? What shade of green is it anyway? Well, actually, what was confusing is the doors that are on it, or at least, I don't know if both of them, but the door that's on the driver's side is off of a 6-cylinder car. And that was throwing me because I could see the original color of that. I looked up the code and everything, and it was that door, at least the car that door was on, was lime gold. So it was a kind of a shade of green, at least on that door. But then as I looked further and got into it, you might be able to see I don't know if you can see it very well, the pinch weld around the windshield. You can see the Acapulco blue. And then that's also inside where the drip, or underneath the drip rail and all that sort of thing. So you can see that it's there. And that's one thing I might have to scavenge, because I don't know what I understand with this car. I don't have any real history of it other than the people I bought it from, they bought it just to sell it. They really didn't have, in my opinion, they didn't have any idea what this car was or what it could be. They had posted one picture of it and put it up for sale for a price. And then, we went and looked at it, made a deal on it. And they come to find out, they said their son-in-law, he travels around the state or the South or whatever, and he runs into these kind of deals. He'll find a vehicle and he'll buy it and bring it back to them, and then they'll sell it. And so they have no connection to this vehicle at all. They really don't. And this one, they thought they still had a number for the guy that owned it, and they thought maybe he still had the seats and stuff like that, but he doesn't have the seats. So I'll just have to wing it with what I'm going to do with the seats. But other than that, I don't have any history on the vehicle. Really don't. Raleigh Pacheco running late. Hello from Virginia. Glad you're here, Raleigh. Ray Buckman, I think in order to get a real answer on the AMD situation, we would be to place a call to see if you can reach the owner, Mark. Yeah, I know. And that's, I can make a connection with Mark, but I was going through other people that operate their Instagram and do their shows, and so you're right, and I may have to do that, but I'm still trying. Simone says, nice mug. Yes, thank you for that, for all of you commenting on the mug. Raleigh, big thumbs up for the mug. Ray Buckman, yeah. King Duck Ford. My 400 on my Lincoln 79 started to eat oil for the first time in 40 years. Should I start being concerned? Well, when you say eat oil, what does that mean? Is it like a quart every time you drive to the grocery store? Is it the oil light comes on when you start it every time? That's kind of eating oil could be a wide scale of things. But I guess it depends on how many miles are on it and how concerned you are with putting more oil in it occasionally. Okay, so he says, no sign of an oil leak anywhere, must be burning it 2/5 of a quart in 1,000 miles. You may want to check the seals on the valves. You may want to check the valve seals. If it's never been worked on, that's probably a good chance of it. If it's not leaking anywhere, it's going internal, I would look at the valve stem seals. Would be the first thing I would consider. And that's not a hard thing necessarily to do, but that's what I would look for. If it's not, I don't know, you say I don't know if you're seeing any kind of smoke out of the exhaust, but that's what I would point to is first thing is valve stem seals. Good question. Dave Britton checking in. I'll give you part of that bell as well. Chris King, look for leaks and go from there, but it may be time for a build. Let's see. Mr. Mikey, did it have the motor? Well, there's a small block sitting inside of it. I don't know the condition of it. It's just a block. I think there's some pistons laying in there. The transmission's laying in there. It is just kind of stuff piled in there. Although it does have a brand new fender, which I wish it had the original fender, obviously. Seems like a decent fender. It does have the panels that go beside the seat, to fill out the rear quarter window areas. So thankfully it has those. And it has 2 new bumpers in these boxes. And there's a Grant GT steering wheel. And there may be other things. I don't know. I haven't even dug into it. So it'll be a little bit till I can get all the stuff out of it and figure out what's there. Robert, I can probably find you some seats in the spring at the Pate swap meet. Well, maybe that should be a consideration, because right now, my bigger concern is not having the rear seat, right? Because front seat, I may want to put different buckets in it. I may just want to do something different with it entirely at the front, but I need something in the rear, and that's why I'm thinking with the red car, I could just pull the seats out of it and have them. But maybe there is something else out there that I can get a hold of, or if anybody has any lineup on parts cars. Mac, what's up, all? Glad you're here, Mac. Simone, my car has bits from other models. GT axle and bumper, GXL fender, 2000E passenger door, a Frankenstein car, really. Well, if they're all the same color, that's a big plus. King Duck Ford, thanks. You're welcome. Simone, I'm sure the valve seals are gone in mine. No smoke, though. Yeah. Michael Pagliarini says, check the PCV system. That could be an option, too. And Wally even points out, check the PCV. If stuck open, it will draw oil into the carb and burn it. So there's 2 good answers on the PCV. Chris caught his basket case. Yeah, it's almost the same as the basket case Camaro, but the basket case Camaro was a lot worse. A lot worse. Dave, sorry I missed the start of the chat. Did you say it came with a title or not? And no, it has a bill of sale. That's all I got. Well, that's okay. Bill of sale is good enough in the state of Georgia. Yeah, he just barely beat you to it, Wally. But you both had a good answer. King, 98,000 miles, and I can see a little tail oil smoking exhaust when it starts, but it runs solid, starts like it was an EFI. Okay. Well, there's 2 things you can check. PCV, and then, if it's functioning properly, move on and check the valve stem seals. Danny Alvey, hey Barry, nice looking car in the background. Anyone have any experience with the Vermont title loophole? Check it out. I have not tried that, but I've looked into it. And it doesn't sound like it's all that complicated. All I want is some documentation. Send them the paperwork. Boom. They'll send you a title. Probably well worth checking into. Okay, King's going to check that PCV. Switch the fender with Red Dave. I've thought about that, and the problem I have, let me go back up here to the red car, is I think that fender, on the passenger side, I think it's messed up. I'll have to look at it a little harder and see. I can't remember for sure if it's good or bad. It would be beneficial to have, an original stamping fender. But I'll have to look it over pretty good and see if it's justifiable. Terry says at Red 68. I'm betting still has the seats. Yes, it has the seats in it. Yeah. So that's one option too, is to just use those seats. Robert, just make me a running list of what you need, and I'll take it with me to the swap meet and send pics for you to say yes or no to. Okay, that's a plan. Whoops. Okay. Dave, I'm curious, if you get pulled over in Georgia, do the police ask to see a bill of sale and your driver's license? They do not. They ask to see a registration and your driver's license and maybe proof of insurance. But anymore, your proof of insurance is tied directly to your license plate. So a lot of times they won't even ask for your insurance. They already know if you have insurance on that based on your license plate number. Now, what happens is if I take a bill of sale and I go to the local tag office, first of all, I have to have insurance on that car. I have to have it on that VIN number. And it's already in the system. So you do that a day or so ahead of time. You go to the tag office with just nothing. I mean, basically just a piece of notepad with the information written on it. I so-and-so sold to so-and-so, one so-and-so, for, you don't even have to put a dollar figure on it. Put the VIN number on it. You both sign it. Buyer, seller. If you want to witness, you can do that. But now you've got a piece of paper that is signed by both parties that own the vehicle. You go to the tag office and you say, I want to register this. And they look up the VIN number. They determine if it's a good number or not, basically, if it's been stolen or anything like that. And then once you have that, taken care of and they're good, the number's good, they'll issue you a registration and a new tag. So here you go. Just hand it right to you. Walk outside. Go home, put it on your car. As long as you have insurance on it, you can drive it. And they don't ask for any kind of other documentation because everything is tied to the license plate. They already know as long as it's a valid plate, they already know that who you are, and they already know if there's insurance on it. So they look for your license just to verify who you are. So that's all I've ever seen. And the thing is, in Georgia, you don't have to have a title for any vehicle that's 25 years old or older. So you can do the math on that. I think we go back to, 97? So technically, you could have a 97 model vehicle, 2007, 97 model with no title. It would just be a bill of sale. That's how lenient it is here in Georgia. Simone, my engine had no PCV when I bought it. I found one on eBay in terrible condition, which I stripped clean and painted. Very pleasing job. Okay, well, good. Rick, Pole Barn Garage on YouTube got a title for his GTO full of bullet holes from Vermont. Well, maybe I have to pursue that and get a title for this car. Denny, was it originally a stick car? I noticed the pedal shaft through the firewall. Not the blue car. No, I'm pretty confident it was an automatic. But let me look here. I don't know what you may have seen. Well, I think I'll have to look at that a little harder because it's got a floor shift in it. I don't see anything because here's the thing. Somebody has tried to modify it. They actually cut metal out of the tranny tunnel, which is very disappointing. Fortunately, I have a spare tranny tunnel, that I'm going to patch that back in. And I don't know if they were trying to put a 4-speed in. I don't see any other pedals in there. I don't see a clutch pedal in the car. But it may take some further investigation to get there. But I know there is a floor shift, an automatic floor shift on top of the tranny tunnel in the factory location. So that's a good observation. We'll look at that. We'll get another look at that. Simone, I'm guessing when I visit the U.S., I can't drive. I don't know what the restrictions are. You may want to look that up because I really don't know. I don't know. Shane, Pennsylvania's tough when it comes to titles. It would be easier to stick an ice pick in your eye than to get a title. Yeah. Terry, that red 68 parts car that I'm getting for free has door hinges, fenders, seats. Really? Okay. I forgot about that one. Yeah, it's probably worth trying to get a hold of. Laying in Pennsylvania, if you don't have a title, you're basically screwed. Yeah. That's I know how that is in Pennsylvania. They're really strict on all kinds of stuff. Robert, hooked on classics, you'll need an IDP just like you need for most countries. It's around $10 and just says that you bought a driver's license. Do you have a driver's license? Not all states will require it though. Derek Pro, hi Barry, everyone. You're looking well. Love the new project. Yes, thank you, Derek. I don't know if you saw, I posted some pictures in a variety of places, but I'm still kind of amazed at how solid this car is. I just, I can't get over it. And Roger suggested I go have his car dipped. And I thought about that, but I don't know what that costs. I don't know any place that does it. Like, I've not really researched that at all. But it probably would be a good idea. Ray Buckman, yeah, Colorado without a title can be painful. Yeah. And the whole Vermont loophole thing is probably worth looking into. It's good coffee tonight. Thanks, Rick. Good coffee. Good stuff. Anyway. Oh, and I don't know if you saw, I don't know if I showed you the wheels or not. Unfortunately, there's 3 of the wheels are the same on the left rear. You can see the left rear wheel there. It's got a really tight spoke pattern. That wheel matches the 2 on the passenger side, and then the one on the front is a wider, spoke pattern. So I wouldn't probably use these anyway, but it would have been nice to have a full set and be able to resell these. But believe it or not, those are 14-inch wheels. I thought they were 15s, but I'm pretty confident that they're actually 15 or 14s. Hold on, let me look again because I was like, let me see. It is, of course, it's on the bottom. Well, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. 195 70 R14s. 195 70 R14, and that looks like a really big tire, but it's not. I mean, it's got a wide, tall sidewall on it, but yeah, that's what's on the front anyway. I don't know what size is in the back, but I wish it was, they were a full set. That would be nice. Derek, looks very clean. Always good to have solid rails and floors. Yep. That's just so much better to start with something like that than to know you're going to have to cut out the floor pan, which leads to the torque boxes and leads to the floor supports, and it just piles on. But having all that good ahead of time, much, much better. Ray, can you get a Marty report for the Mustang? I'm sure I can. I just, it's too early in the process for me to be too worried about it. Rick is talking to Simone. Remember to drive on the right side of the road. Yeah. Denny Avi, Vermont is America's DMV. Yeah. Simone, yeah, driving on the wrong side is going to be weird. It would be for us. Because we drive on the right side of the road. We even say it. We are on the right side of the road because that's how you do it. You drive on the right side of the road. You drive on the wrong side of the road. See? Right side, left side, right side, wrong side. Chris, Magnums and Acapulco Blue. Well, it would probably go back to the original Acapulco Blue. I love that color. That would probably be where I would go with it. Magnums, good possibility. Um, haven't really considered much with the wheels just yet. Just yet. Because again, I don't know exactly what route I'm going. I look at some of these old SCCA or Trans Am cars, they drove back then in the day, and I'm like, ooh, boy, that would be kind of cool. Do one up like that, but I don't know yet. Rick, how long until this car is as nice as Jade? I don't know. I'm in no hurry to get started on this car. The goal was to get it home, get it in, get it here where it was safe, and that's what I've done. Because the next thing that's coming into the shop, it will be a Bronco body, like the early Broncos. A friend of mine had one built. It's up in Tennessee. He's going to be bringing it to me probably in the next week or two, and all I'm doing is painting it. So I'll do videos on that. It's a whole brand new body sitting on a chassis. So there's no wiring, there's no mechanical stuff, nothing, which is fantastic. That's a good deal. I'll just paint the body. So that's going to be the next thing. Then after that should be a 69 428 Cobra Jet that I'm going to do for somebody else. Going to be working on that car. In the meantime, I'm going to keep trying to accumulate parts for the 67 that I still plan to make into a fastback. So I'm going to be accumulating parts for that. And then who knows? I still got the Camaro to finish putting together. If I can get AMD to send me the parts, then I can get it finished and then sell the body, because I don't want to finish the Camaro. It would just get put together and roll it out the door and sell it to somebody else. So, and then we'll see how what's on this, where the things are for everything, lineup is for everything else. Denny says Lincoln Zephyr wheels. I don't know for sure, because they're 14-inch. I don't know if the Zephyr had 14-inch wheels. Maybe it did. I don't know. Mr. Mikey, 2,400 for dipping a classic Mustang according to Google. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. That's too much. Thank you for looking that up, though. Shane, how is the cowl on your new project that tortured me on Eileen? Near as I can tell, it's good and solid. Near as I can tell. Now, I haven't been able to get in the car and look up under all that stuff, but based on the condition of the floor, in fact, on the passenger side, there is still paint. The original paint is on the floor on the passenger side. On the driver's side, there is some surface rust. Nothing bad, but just surface rust. So I'm going to, I feel like, safely assume that the cowl is good. I'm going to assume that it's all good. Lynn, I like Mustangs better if they're painted the original color. I do too. Most of the time. There are some colors that I just don't. I'm just. Some colors I just can't. I just don't like. Just don't like, and it's nothing against. That was what they came out with, or they had in that time period, and a color that was popular back in the 60s. Maybe not so popular today. Maybe not so popular. I got a couple things I got to address here real quick. Hold on. I listed the Honda Civic for sale. So I had a couple people respond to me on that real quick. So yeah, but the original colors, some of them were just kind of not fantastic. But personally, I know a lot of people like red. I'm not much of a fan of red. I mean, it's okay. It's a nice color, but I'm just not really a fan of it. Now Mustangs, I like the Acapulco blue, obviously the Gulfstream aqua, great color. I even like some of the yellows. I do like the yellow stuff. There's been darker greens and a variety of stuff like that. The one I don't really like too much is like the 65 that I painted, the light blue one, and it's that super light blue. That I didn't like because it was hard to paint. I could have used a different color undertone to paint it, because my primer and the blue felt like they were almost the same color. It was really hard to see it, and it's just an odd kind of color. But that was the original color on that car, and the owner wanted it painted back to the original, and I'm fine with that. And I do like, for the most part, the original colors on these cars. I do. Wally says, so no fastback conversion. Well, not on this car. No, I don't think I would do that. And worth a lot more to resell after metalwork. Yeah, I agree with you I mean, probably so. And maybe I should just consider that for the red 68. Maybe I should consider that one. I don't know. I need somebody to bring me a bunch of parts though. Rick, I have a 67 passenger seat black and a 65 driver seat also black. I have to check what kind of condition they're in. They've been sitting in the garage for over 20 years. Okay. I don't know if those are. I know the 68 had should have had a push button on the side, locking type of seat, where the earlier cars they just flop forward. So like at least my understanding is, like the seats that are in jade, those are earlier model seats. They're not, to me, they're not the correct seats, but they work fine. So, Doyle, you're open to paint other people's projects. I know you don't like painting. Yeah, I don't really like painting. I can say that. In this case, the reason I want to get into the Bronco, for one, it's going to make some good content for the channel, and two, it's all new, and it's already somebody else has already done all the work to it, and I know I'm going to probably have to do some filler work and different things like that, but I like the idea that there's nothing there. There's no seats, there's no carpet, there's nothing that's going to get in my way, and I'm responsible for what happens to it, kind of thing. Sometimes you run into, like, I know you're doing a body work and all that sort of thing, and that's good. I would probably, even like a regular paint shop, they might hesitate to just paint your car for you, because they go, well, we're putting paint on top of stuff we don't know what it is. That's where you get into back and forth on some whether they want to paint a vehicle or not, because they want to do the prep work, they want to do the primer, and they want to do everything to their standard. So I can't blame them for that, because you get to a point where you spray paint on something, and if something wasn't done right and it comes apart, then it's back on the guy who threw the paint on it. Not, they don't look down the road and say, well, they actually did the body work, so it's your fault, type of thing. I think you see what I'm saying there. But I'm just not. Paint stresses me out. I will say that. Paint stresses me out worse than anything. I'd rather be grinding and welding. I'd rather cut this car in half and weld it back together with one eye than to actually paint stuff. But that's the way it is. Car Guy Troy, car looks pretty solid. I picked up a 67 convertible last fall. I'm messing with that's been sitting since '94. Body's really good. Other than driver's quarter, has a hole. All original metal, needs paint. Awesome. That sounds nice. Mr. Mikey, Diamante green was one of those colors. Okay. Dave, odd color would be Playboy pink, but I would have it with it being so rare of a car. But I would have it. Oh, rare. Wait a minute. But I wouldn't have it being so rare of a color. There we go. Yeah, because I think that falls into the rainbow of colors cars we talked about, which is what we thought this was initially. Um, and I think that's where the Playboy pink came into play, was the rainbow of colors cars, which, based on what I looked up, and I talked to Orange Crate was on here. um, I You hear one number, they said they only made 500 of those, or 500 cars in the rainbow of colors, but then I found another piece of information that said they made like 500 and close to 50 of those cars. So that's why I was hoping this was one of those cars, but it's not. It's definitely not. Don, not me talking about the original color. He wants to be different. Well, that's why I said your whatever root beer brown, whatever that color is. And he says color that is, yes. Well, that's the thing too. I've seen people that they, I don't know how you do it, if it's um, oh, a tri-coat type of thing, where they'll do, they call it, there's colors out there like root beer, and it's brown with heavy flake going over top of it, like a candy apple look to it, and then clear coat. It looks kind of cool. Um, Probably not in my palette of colors that I would choose though. Chris Greenaway, Ivy Glow, etc. Yeah. They had definitely some colors that are just a little bit off. Simone, almost 1 a.m. sleep time. Good night, everyone. Glad you're here, Simone. Hope you have a good night. Let's see. Chris, Dawn, root beer color. Yours is sharp. There you go. He likes it. Larry Bibby, hi all from Flyover, Nebraska. Dark metallic orange paint, Corvette bronze. Okay. I can picture that. Yeah. Okay. Lynn, CJ Pony has all the parts that you need. Yes. Yeah, they do. Unfortunately, they want to have lots of money to have them shipped here. Unfortunately. Chris Lynn at a premium no one can afford. Yeah, that's the hard part. Terry, I'll make you a good deal on the parts car when I get it, the whole car. Okay, well, we'll talk. I'm always looking for, before I found this, there was another one that popped up on Marketplace that I showed to Roger. It was a 68 that it was a vinyl top car and the roof was gone. But the rest of the car was fantastic. And the guy, they were selling it with no engine, no transmission, and I was almost leaning towards going after that car. And then the guy sold it, so it was gone. Couldn't get it anyway. And there's one more car that is on. It's been showing up on Facebook, and it is a 69 fastback with really not much to it. The guy sent me some more pictures of it. Yeah, I'm not going to pull them up, but he's wanting $3,500 for the car, and it's like there's no hood, no fenders, no doors. There's a floor pan that's sitting in it, and I think new frame rails. That's about it. Now, ideally, I'd like to get the 69, but I don't know that that's the right candidate just yet. We'll have to see. Colin, hardest decision for me is color for my 66. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can always go with the original. That way you can say, well, that's the original color. Point it out. That's why I like the Gulfstream Aqua so much. It's a unique color, and you don't see them. You just don't. I mean, you see them, but you don't see them every day. Or you might see them on a Mustang forum or something like that. But you don't see them in the wild. Mac, prep is key. Yes. Prep is definitely the key to a good paint job. Dawn's Manufacturer says, thanks, Chris. And Chris, Joe, I'm not interested in painting my car now. I sent you a picks after a good wax survivor. Okay, let me have a look and see. So I forgot to even have my email open. I don't see any. Unless you're talking about ones you sent me before. Okay, I don't see them. They're not there. Lynn, Chris, they have great stock and get the parts to you quickly. That is true. They do. I've run into problems before though, where I've gotten parts from CJ Pony that they sent me a door 3 times, and all 3 of the doors were damaged. And finally, the last door, I was like, okay, I'm not sending this back anymore. And Mitch is asking Colin, do you know what the factory color was? And Chris, Don, if I ordered it, would have been. If I ordered it, it would have been white interior. Okay. Colin, no, the code is painted over. Until I can get that off, it's a mystery. I think it's green. Okay. Mitch, Colin forgot that they don't have Marty reports for 66, so used to dealing with 67 plus, but I do love dark forest green. Yeah, I like the dark forest green as well. Chris, paint is such a fickle thing. A expensive part of the process. I love the older cars with paint from the color it came from the factory. Yeah, and I like unique colors, but I like bold, unique colors. You know, I've talked to when I was putting Jade together, and talking to my wife about the paint and what I wanted to do, and she said, just so there's no stripes. She didn't want any stripes on it. I was like, okay. And I get that. But then there's parts of me, like I look at this car behind me and I see this blue, and I'm thinking, ooh, yeah, I can see this stripe, or I can see the stripe on the, different configurations. But I don't know what I'm going to do just yet. Haven't decided. Robert, my 66 was beige. You don't see them, and really we never should have seen it on a Mustang ever. I agree with that statement. Very much so. I do agree with that. Beige is not a color that should be on a car. Leo Barajas, I guess. Is ceramic coating a car a good idea? That's a good question. I have not tried ceramic coating, but I have heard good things about it. I know you have to have, my understanding is you have to have good paint to start with. I don't know you're not going to like save it if it's got problems. But I have heard good things about ceramic coating. I just don't have any experience with it. So if anybody else has any input on that, by all means, let Leo know. Car Guy Troy, Ember Glow is a different color that's good looking. Ember Glow. I'd have to see what that is. Let me look quick. Oh, they're bringing up like Valspar house paint. I don't think we're going to go that route. Oh, Ford Ember Glow. Yeah, that's actually pretty close to. I mean, it's lighter than Dawn's. It's lighter than Dawn's, but that is very much kind of a. It's one of those colors you just can't say it's medium light brown or medium dark. You can't really define it that easily. It is a unique color. So you're right. That is a unique color. Mitch, my 67 is Wimbledon white with ivy gold interior, and I love how unique it is, even for a little daily driver 6-cylinder 3-speed car. Yeah, Wimbledon white is because we did that on this. Where's it at? On the 68 we did years ago at the shop. I think I still have pictures of it here somewhere. Yeah. So this was the drag car that we did in Wimbledon white. I had a lot of time in that car. A lot of time getting it to look right. Because you don't just make those wheel wells. They don't appear. You got a 31-inch tire, I believe it is, and it just doesn't happen that you just, it shows up. Yeah, there's a lot of sectioning that has to take place to make that happen. Let me go. Let's see. Chris, Leo, not from what I talked to expert. It is, but it. Wait. Okay. So he's talking. Oh, okay. You're talking about the ceramic, right? Yeah. Not from what I talked to an expert. It is, but it. Uh, if God forbid, if you get in a crash and the painter doesn't know it, messes up his process. Yep. And Chris, most people ceramic when they go cheaper on the clear, from what he says. Okay. And Leo says thanks. Car guy, it's a 65-66 color, kind of a copper color. Yeah, I mean, I did pull it up, and it's a light copper, I guess is how I would look at that. I think that's what I would call that, a light copper color. Dave Britton, as a kid, we had neighbors that had a major pig farm operation, and they bought a brand new Olds wagon that was the same color as a pig. It looked ridiculous. Oh, man. No. Chris, my new body guy, says stone chip scratches can't be avoided if you go higher up on the clear coat. Okay. Yep. Doyle, my colors was white with navy vinyl top. I just don't like white unless it's a Hearst Olds with gold stripes. Problem is I have a light blue interior, so I'm thinking trophy blue like my first 69. Well, I understand where you're coming from with that. I agree. The white, that's a lot of car, in my opinion, to be just white. Yeah. And, the Hearst Olds with the gold stripes definitely offset, made it really cool looking. But, it's your car. Obviously, if you have a blue interior, I would go with something blue like that. I'm not familiar with trophy blue, but that makes sense to me. I get it. Okay, so Chris did send me a picture. Let me pull that up. Here we go. Give it a second to load. And there it is. Good looking car. Good looking car. 77 Firebird formula. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Colin says thinks he has the color ivy green metallic. Ivy green metallic. Okay, that's probably not a bad color. Ray Buckman, Royal Maroon was a nice color on the Boss Mustangs. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Although I'm a fan of Grabber Blue. I really am a fan of Grabber Blue. Chris says, Leo, next. No, expert, if it's a modern car, yes, old car, maybe, if you have a minor accident. Okay, you have to take it to the company to remove the product before you go back to step one. Oh, yeah, that makes it a lot more complicated. Lynn, Indian Fire Red is a cool color. Okay. I'd have to look that one up too. I'm going to have to look at that later. Steve's Money Pit. Hello from Wisconsin. Thumbs up for Daddy and his favorite pony. Thank you, Steve. Chris, Chrysler 300H is a cool car. Yes. Yeah, the Chrysler 300s, yeah, those were all cool cars. I mean, they were big tanks, but yeah, cool cars. Mr. Mikey, ceramic is a good microscopic sealer, kind of like using a clay bar on a 3-year-old car to remove minute road grime. Works pretty good on my older pickup. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mikey. I've never tried it. So Doyle says trophy blue is a darker navy. Okay. That's got to be pretty dark. That's got to be pretty dark because navy is a pretty dark blue. Yeah. I've said I'm not against certain. There's certain colors I don't like. Like Robert said, beige. No, cars should never be beige. I guess in the 90s, Ford had this color, and I talked about this before. It was like, I forget what the name of it was, but it was like, I can't even describe it. It was like a pinkish rose color that they put on the Ford Taurus. They would put it on like the Escorts. They had it on a variety of vehicles. It was horrible. It was just horrible. And the bad part about it, really bad part, we had to work on one of these, and when it came in to get repaired, you couldn't color match that stuff. You just couldn't. It was pretty bad. And we ended up, I think that car, we painted it 3 times because we tried to blend the doors, didn't work. Tried to blend into the fenders, didn't work. We had to paint the whole side of the car, and then nothing matched the rest of the car. Like the whole side was right one color, but the hood and the roof and all that stuff, no. And we told the people we're not spraying this anymore. No. It was terrible. Terrible. Ray Buckman, yes, Grabber Blue number one in my book for that year. Mustang parents had a 74 Maverick in Grabber Blue with white markings. Haven't seen another one since. Yeah. I mean, the 70 Mustang Grabber Blue to me is just, I love it. I think it looks fantastic. There's the yellow. There was some yellow. The 70 Mustang was yellow. I liked it. Of course, a black one is always going to look good. The deep burgundy stuff I like. But anything that's kind of pale or weird greenish, no, not really too much of a fan of that. Robert, Ford had that ugly purple as well. Yeah, that's whatever that color was. It was just, it was terrible. Chris, I'm just saying to consider the options if it's daily wind, snow, sleet. Hell yes. If it's show car quality paint, winter stored, etc., maybe. Okay, yeah. Talking about using the ceramic. And Chris, Joe Daddy's pewter silver metallic. Ugh. Yeah. They kind of overplayed that color a lot. I know GM used that pewter on half the trucks they built. Were all pewter. I had one. I did. I actually had 2. At least 2. Maybe 3. I don't know. But you didn't have to wash them. That was the good part. You didn't have to wash them. The dirt just kind of blended in. Larry Bibby, if I remember correctly, it was called Coral for that Ford color. That may have been it. All I know, it was just, you couldn't even really describe it. It was, I don't know, pinkish rose, blah. It was just terrible. Chris, competition blue for the Mercury side of the tree. Yeah, there you go. Competition blue, yep. Car Guy Troy, have a lot of customers' cars ceramic coated. All new cars, though. Place we used as a paint correction buff, etc. Then apply it. Hydrophobic coating. Just had a black Mach-E done. Looked amazing. Well, you lost me at Mach-E, but I agree with it. It probably did. They probably looked amazing. I don't know of any way you can make a Mach-E look amazing, but I get what you're saying. Robert, I did the El Camino in silver right before the car companies decided to silver coat everything. Will probably be black when it gets painted again. I like black and charcoals. Yes. Yeah. Dave, I always wondered why the lime gold was such a popular color. was never one of faves, even though I had one. Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe it was discounted. You got to think of that. Sometimes they built cars and then they couldn't sell them, so they would knock money off until it was gone. Maybe that's how it worked out. Just kept lowering the price until everybody bought the lime gold ones to get them off the lots. Ray, I want to wish everyone a good night and a great week. Let's keep this project rolling. Good night, Barry. Good night, Ray. Glad you were here. Glad you were here. Let's see, Rick. Many years ago, I looked at a 64.5 Mustang Coupe. It was gold with a 176 cylinder. Yeah. Yeah, they probably, I mean, the early Mustangs were basically, we all know, based on the Falcon. That's where it all came from, the Falcon. And you know, a lot of those were built with a six cylinder, I'm sure. A lot of them. Now I don't know the production numbers. But I would say there were a lot of them were built with a six cylinder, because the V8 they offered back then was what, the 235 or something, the little tiny V8 that was probably not much less power than a six cylinder. So, but a 176, that's not a lot of power either. I know the 70 Mustang that I had. I remember working on that car. It was a six cylinder with a 3-speed manual. And something was wrong with the cylinder head. I don't remember exactly what, but I ended up taking the head off of that, and I think you could put like a 200. I don't remember. I know I swapped the head on that car because the first head was either cracked or something, but I swapped that head out on that, and it was funny. That car had a set of headers on it. It was a six cylinder with headers. And it ran good. It ran good, but I don't remember the specifics of what it had exactly. I just know it was a straight six car. Chris, we can complain, but Mopar had the oddest, most flamboyant. Hey, I'm over here, guys. Panther pink, butterscotch, mellow yellow, plum crazy, purple, hemi orange, sassy grass green, etc. You know what? And I love those colors. I do. I love seeing those cars. Any of them. I think that it's just fantastic. In fact, I was talking to my wife about this the other day. There is on display somewhere, I don't know if there's one or multiple of these, where they took a 70 Challenger or something, CUDA 71, I don't remember exactly, and they did all of the colors that were available. If you ever seen one of those, it's pretty cool. I know there's at least one, maybe multiples, but they took all the colors and layered them all the way down the side of the whole, went across the car. So you had these stripes that went across the middle of the car. Pretty cool looking. And I was half joking with my wife. I said, that would be cool to do something like that on one of these. But how do you do black, blue, red, green, lime gold, beige, blue? I couldn't do that, but on those cars, that was pretty cool looking. I'll have to see if I can find that. I don't even know what to label it. If it'll pop. Oh yeah, there it is. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I didn't realize, hold on a second. I didn't realize that it was actually split. Hold on. We're going to pull this up. I'm going to pull this up. Where did I go? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so here's one image, and I don't know where where the other one went. So you can see that it's got all the colors on one side, and then one solid color on the driver's side. I thought when I first saw that thing that the colors went all the way across. I didn't realize they had just done it halfway. I would rather see it all the way across the car than half and half. Where did that other picture go? Oh, there it is. So here's the other. Let me show you this one. If it'll let me do it. Here we go. So check that out. That's pretty cool to me that they went out of their way to make all that happen. I like the exhaust coming up the side too. So those were all the colors that were available. Pretty cool looking. Just my opinion. All right. Let me pull that one back down. Go back to the comments. Greg, Iron Man is out today on the roof of the car. Yeah, hey, there's more than one out. You gotta find the others. Shane, would be very interesting to watch do an old Mopar project, Charger, Challenger, or something along those lines. I would love to do it. I really would. I've said it before. I've had a '67 Plymouth Belvedere when I was 18. I would like to redo one of those. Whether it ever happens, I don't know, but I would like that. I like those cars. So I'll give you a bell for that idea. Car guy Troy, lots of gold, green, and browns. Hang around brown, hard to sell. Yeah. Yeah, resale red was always a popular thing. Dave Britton, sometimes you wonder if this kind of thing happened. New car salesman says, "How? Now here's a nicely optioned car with a beautiful paint tone we call diarrhea." We call this mistake number 3. Chris, Ford was too conservative. GM Pontiac in the middle of Mopar AMC. Come and get me. Yeah, you're right about that. Larry, hey Barry, how's the AMD Camaro going? I've been trying to get. I can't get any input from AMD. I don't know what I'm going to have to do, but I'm hoping that they come through. Still hoping, but I need to make some more calls or something and make it happen. Mr. Mikey, 121538 Mustangs made in '64, 22,000 sold the first day they became available. Yes, 121,538. That's a lot of cars. Thank you for looking that up. Chris says 70 Cuda is a promo from an advertisement for 69. Yeah, I found it. Doyle, that Cuda was a sales color option demo at a Detroit Auto Show, I think. Yep. Rick, what about your idea of splitting the car, one side being restored, the other side not? I wanted to do that so bad with the 55, but it just didn't work out. Okay, Chris. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sending that. Derek says that's sick, bro. Yeah. I mean, it's just really cool to see stuff like that. Abe Gudino, found your channel several years ago and searching for '66 Mustang convertible. I'm currently restoring it. Your videos have been great. Thank you. Awesome. I wish I could have finished that car, but the owner, I don't know. The owner kind of, I don't know what's going on. Still haven't heard from him. It's crazy. Derek, I'm sure someone will love that in their collection. Yeah, I'm sure they would too. Chris, I emailed the ad. It was Mopar's way of saying we are more bold or brave than our competitors. Any flavor you want, like ice cream. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I'll just go ahead. I'll pull that one up too. It's a pretty good picture. Give me just 1 second. So a little bit different look to it, but yeah, that's pretty cool. And of course, you add in the stripes and all the different things they put on there. Um, really, really makes a statement, especially with the side pipes coming out or the headers coming up the sides. They're saying, "Look at me, look at me." No, really, look at me. You're not looking. Keep looking. Let's see. Greg says Barry, he is on hood. Yes. Yep. That's the first Iron Man. Michael Pagliarini. Yes, it looks like a Hot Wheels car, and I wonder if they ever produced one. That would be really cool to see if they would ever produce one of those, because I'm sure people would buy those up. I don't know how hard it would be to make those, but they make all kinds of cool stuff like M2 Machines. I think is a company maybe they need to get into it and start making some of those. Dave, Barry, when I was 16, I had a 6'7" Belvedere wagon in blue with a leaning tower of power. Yeah, I don't have the picture up here anymore, but there's a friend of mine. He's got a 67 Belvedere wagon that was white, and he painted it blue. And it's just a fantastic car. Excellent condition. Shane, it's been fun, Barry and gang. Got to go. Good night. Yep, I'm getting ready to cut out too. I got to get in the house. Car guy Troy, turn signal hood on that one you just picked up. Any color, any cool options? Nope, just a base model V8 automatic. It does have this hood that's on it. Does have the turn signal cutouts, but that's about it. There's really not much else. It's a pretty plain car as far as that goes. Rick says, let's call AMD on Barry's. Well, I don't know about that. Let me handle it. We'll see what happens. Chris, Panther Pink was only made for 6 to 8 months until a higher up from Crico said, when do we start painting pink cars? I believe that. I believe that. Okay. I got to get in the house. And my voice is getting tired, so I know I got to go. This has been fun. It's been nice to talk about different stuff, different paint colors and schemes and questions and answers and ideas. That's fantastic. I think that's the beauty of this format is we're able to have these conversations, even though it's just like me talking, but still you all are participating, and that's fantastic. So as I mentioned, I have a little Honda Civic. I put it up for sale. I have one more video on it where I did the keyless entry. I added a keyless entry to it. Bought a thing off of Amazon. Pretty simple to do. It works. I'll probably post a video on that just to show the process. But I'm hoping that I can sell that car soon and get it out of here. But other than that, I'm going to probably maybe start going through this, see what's here and what's not, maybe write down a list of what I'm going to need for the car overall, and just kind of go from there. I don't know when the Bronco is going to get here, hopefully soon, and then I get started on it. But as of now, that'll be the end of this live stream, and I'll be back next Monday, October 24th. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.